Tens of thousands of families are searching for relatives who disappeared into Assad's notorious prison system. Piles of papers, often accompanied by photographs, expose the atrocities like widespread torture, extrajudicial killings, and sexual violence, acts that constitute war crimes and crimes against humanity. Paradoxically, while these records are intended to maintain control, they also lay the groundwork for future accountability. This phenomenon, known as the backfire effect, is not unique to Syria. From Nazi Germany to the Soviet Union and apartheid South Africa, authoritarian regimes have documented their brutalities, only to have these records later used as evidence against them. I'm Dr. K. I'm a political scientist who looks at how information is shared, and that includes how regimes use information they collect to control narratives, enforce power, and suppress dissent. Ironically, regimes often document their crimes with the belief that controlling the narrative will protect them. By maintaining detailed records, they aim to demonstrate that due process happened or use these documents to manipulate public opinion. For example, regimes might argue, why would we document this if it were wrong? In Nazi Germany, as the tide of World War II turned, Nazis recognized the danger posed by their meticulous documentation. And between 1943 and 1945, the Nazis initiated Aktion 1005, a formal plan to destroy evidence of their atrocities. Among other things, documents from the SS, Gestapo, and concentration camps were systematically destroyed. Authoritarian regimes document torture and other brutalities for strategic, psychological, and organizational reasons. These records are used to make people afraid, reinforce internal discipline, and maintain bureaucratic control. In Syria, prisoners often knew that their torture was being recorded, adding a layer of psychological terror to their physical suffering. In East Germany, the Stasi maintained detailed files on millions of citizens. These records were not only used to monitor individuals, but also to blackmail them into cooperation, controlling everything from the university admission of their family members to travel opportunities or jobs in their planned economy. Regimes often rely on documentation to create an appearance of order, even in illegal or violent actions. These records serve as a proof of loyalty, ideological commitment, or efficiency. For example, in the Soviet Union, Stalin's NKVD, the People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs, meticulously recorded interrogations, forced confessions, and executions during the Great Purges. These records reinforce the narrative that the purges were necessary, a defense against internal enemies, and an attempt to legitimize the regime's actions in the eyes of its own officials. Similarly, in apartheid South Africa, police documented the detention and torture of anti-apartheid activists to frame them as dangerous and justify their brutal treatment of them. The Soviet Union's handling of the Holodomor in Ukraine illustrates another layer of the regime documentation paradox. The Soviet Union recorded grain requisitions, population data, and secret police reports that revealed the devastating impact of the artificial starvation caused in 1933. Yet, as the famine's scale became evident, Stalin's government moved to suppress knowledge of it. Journalists were censored, foreign accounts discredited, and census results showing population declines were annulled. Officials who reported the truth were arrested. Even after Stalin's death, the Soviet Union continued to erase and suppress evidence. Only when Soviet archives were released after 1991 were the orders and police reports that corroborated survivor testimonies and foreign accounts made public, ensuring the Holodomir's place in history as a man-made atrocity. But public knowledge and evidence is not enough. There are also recent efforts to suppress evidence and create a sanitized version of history. In 1987, the organization Memorial was established in Russia to document Stalin-era crimes and preserve the memory of political repression. However, in 2021, Russia's Supreme Court criminalized the organization, citing violations of foreign agent laws. This move reflects the Kremlin's broader strategy to rewrite history by glorifying Soviet achievements while suppressing uncomfortable truths about atrocities like the Holodomor or Stalin's purges. And this pattern is not unique to Russia. National myth-making, that's creating narratives that glorify a nation's past while ignoring its darker aspects, is a common practice. In Austria, post-World War II narratives frame the country as the first victims of Nazi Germany, trying to sidestep Austria's complicity in the Holocaust. Authoritarian regimes document atrocities to maintain control, justify their actions, and suppress dissent. These records often become powerful tools of accountability when regimes fall, while some, like Nazi Germany, create plans to destroy evidence. Enough often survives to expose their crimes. However, accountability is not guaranteed, no matter how much documentation there is. History has shown that unchecked power and unchallenged narratives often pave the way for injustice. By questioning narratives, examining the actions of those in power, and connecting the dots between the past and present, we can use the tools of political science to better anticipate systems of oppression and identify them. Hybrid war is destabilizing societal structures, whether it's trust in government, science, or the media. With so much disinformation and misinformation, learning how to analyze things is an important skill. I've always thought that shared knowledge is never lost. And videos like this is how I do my part to strengthen democratic resilience. Let me know if videos like this help you understand the world better. I'm Dr. K.